Hello everyone, I am Bhumiba Gohil. I am a student of Department of English Maharaja Krishna Kumar CG University. I have created this video as a part of Virtual Teachers Day celebration. In here I am going to explain the novel A Thousand Splendid Suns by Afghan American author Khalid Hosseini. So let's begin. So let us talk about the author Khalid Hosseini. He is an Afghan American novelist. His famous work and his debut novel, The Kite Runner, received critical and commercial success. Most of his novels are set in Afghanistan and the main characters or the protagonists are also Afghanis. Now let us meet our main characters. There are two protagonists in the novel and they are narrator as well. First one is Mariam. She was an illegitimate child and she was forced into marriage. The second one is Laila. She grew up in privilege but had to face tragedy early on. The novel is divided into 4 parts, so let us see them. Part 1 is the story of Mariam. She is an illegitimate child and she lives away from her father and she yearns for her father's affection. She lives a very isolated and lonely existence. The first part takes a tragic turn when Mariam's mother, Nana, commits suicide. This event is a devastating blow on Mariam and she blames herself for her mother's death. This is a turning point in her life and it sets the stage for future hardships. Mariam's father gets her married to Rashid, an older man who is a very abusive person. Her marriage is an unhappy one. So basically in part 1 we explore the life and hardships faced by Mariam. In this part, novel's second protagonist Laila takes the center stage. We see how she lives happily with her family in Kabul. She is in love with her neighbor Tariq. In this part, we see how Kabul becomes a war zone. The Soviet invasion disrupts the tranquility of life. Bombings and killings and deaths become a part of everyday life. Laila is tragically affected by this when her parents die in a rocket accident and she is left an orphan. The second part of the novel dwells into the theme of war and how it affects ordinary people. We see how citizens are traumatized and the hardships faced by those who live in the conflict zones. In part 3, we see how Mariam and Rashid save Laila's life. But now to ensure her survival, Laila has to marry Rashid. She believes that Tariq is dead and mourns his loss. The bond between Mariam and Laila grows and a beautiful friendship blossoms. They help each other face the hard times. Rashid's abusive behavior is escalated and he becomes more radicalized under the Taliban rule. We also see how women were treated during the Taliban regime. During these times, women were forced into seclusion, forced to wear a burqa. They were deprived of education and work opportunities. So we see how Taliban ruled the Afghanistan. A pivotal moment occurs when Laila and Tariq are reunited. We find out that Tariq was not dead after all. The appearance of Tariq brings a new hope into Laila's life. Laila, Mariam, along with their children, plan to escape with Tariq. However, Rashid finds out about this plan and he becomes more violent than ever. He tries to kill Laila and to defend her, to save her. Mariam hits him on the head with a shovel and ends up killing him. To save Laila and her children and ensure their safety, Mariam makes the ultimate sacrifice and takes the blame for Rashid's death and gets punished for it. In the third part, the novel dwells deeper into the themes of gender oppression, resilience of women, and the struggle of freedom in tyranny. In the concluding part of the novel, Laila and Tariq take the children to Pakistan. They watch from afar as Taliban is driven out by the Allied forces. Later, they decide to return to Kabul to help in building the country again. On their way to Kabul, they visit Mariam's hometown. They find a letter written to Mariam by her father. He wanted to apologize to Mariam and said that he felt really guilty for not accepting her. He wanted to give her the money of the land. Using that money, Laila and Tariq renovate the orphanage near them, and Laila becomes a teacher in that orphanage. Kabul is healing again, and at the end of the novel, Laila only wishes that Mariam and her parents were alive to see this Afghanistan. In the end, A Thousand Splendid Suns is a heart-wrenching yet ultimately an uplifting tale of survival, love, and the strength to move on. Through this novel, we get a peek into the lives of the Afghan women and how they navigate the ever-changing world. Some of the major themes discussed in this novel are love and sacrifice, fight for survival, war and conflict, and gender inequality. The above presented quote is a very powerful example of gender inequality that still prevails in our society. Now let us discuss the significance of the title. The title is taken from a poem which is written about Kabul by a 17th century poet, Saib-e-Tabrizi. These famous two lines from the poems are that one could not count the moons that shimmer on her roofs, or the 1,000 splendid suns that hide behind her walls. These lines are written to Kabul. The poem is about the beauty and the splendor of Afghanistan. The author Khalid Hosseini chose these lines as the title because it represents the idea that light can be found even in the darkest of places. Even in a place like Afghanistan, people can find the moments of happiness and hope, just like the sun that shines splendidly in the sky. These lines capture the core idea of the novel, which is the themes of hope and finding brightness in difficult times. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you learned something new. Please do not forget to appear in the quiz. You will find the link for the quiz in the description box as well as comment box. Thank you.